In this episode of Falmouth in Focus, we'll honor our nation's veterans with some highlights of this year's virtual ceremony, visit Teaticket Park as the 300 Committee celebrates its 35th anniversary, and get a jump on the holiday season with a sneak peek of Falmouth's virtual Christmas parade. All this and much more on this episode of Falmouth in Focus. Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm your host, Michael Kasparian. With Thanksgiving and the December holidays almost upon us, staying vigilant to curb the spread of COVID-19 becomes even more important as we make plans to celebrate with family and friends. Staying healthy by following the guidelines for social distancing and good sanitary habits is crucial during this busy time of year. Falmouth's health agent Scott McGann's Friday briefings are a good way to stay informed of the latest regulations. You can view the briefings on FCTV Government Channel 15, our Facebook page, and fctv.org. Veterans Day is celebrated yearly on November 11th to honor all American veterans and branches of the military. In Falmouth, the pandemic canceled all public events that honor our servicemen and women. But FCTV partnered with the town to produce a virtual ceremony incorporating new and old footage. Here are some highlights.
I'd also like to say thank you to the City of Falmouth for continuing this Veterans Day tradition even in the middle of a global pandemic. And it is my honor to be part of today's ceremony. Coming together, if only virtually, to honor the sacrifices made by the men and women of our U.S. military is perhaps more important now than ever before, and might just be what we need and what our nation needs. I've spent 28 years in service to our country in the United States Coast Guard. My family and I have been stationed in 14 different states. And I can tell you with absolute certainty that the bonds between New England, Cape Cod, and the U.S. Coast Guard are truly special. There is a lot of history here on the Cape. You may not know it, but the birth of the U.S. Coast Guard can actually be traced back to Massachusetts. The very first commissioned cutter in the Revenue Cutter Service was built in Newburyport, Massachusetts. The Revenue Cutter Service became what is today's U.S. Coast Guard. And arguably, the most famous rescue in Coast Guard history happened right here on Cape Cod. In 1952, Bernie Weber and his crew rescued 32 of the crew members from the stricken tanker vessel Pendleton when it split in half, just off the shores of Chatham. And in fact, your very own Air Station Cape Cod is the longest continuously operating Coast Guard aviation unit. We trace our roots back to 1925 and the establishment of the first Coast Guard unit in 10 Pound Island in Gloucester, Massachusetts. In 1935, that unit was relocated to Salem, and then on August 29th of 1970, in partnership with the Department of Defense, all aircraft and crews were consolidated into one unit, right here on what was then called Otis Air Guard Base. The men and women of Air Station Cape Cod have been standing the watch every day since, executing every Coast Guard mission from the Canadian border to New Jersey. So in addition to everything else going on in 2020, Air Station Cape Cod is attempting to celebrate our 50th anniversary of standing the watch right here on the Cape.
We here at FCTV thank all our military men and women for their service. Thanks to Alan Russell for that coverage. On September 1st, Cape Cod native Connor O'Reilly set off to ride his bike across the country to raise awareness about the role that mindfulness and exercise can play in recovery from substance abuse. Along the way, he's been raising funds for WellStrong, a fitness and wellness community in Falmouth that provides a safe, supportive community for those in recovery. Here's the latest on Connor's progress.
I'm here to give you a little update about Connor's cross-country recovery ride. Really exciting. He just crossed into California yesterday. So that puts him a little under 4,000 miles into his trip. It's been 73 days he's been on his bike. Connor is scheduled to end his trip Tuesday, November 17th. His plan is to jump right into the Pacific Ocean off of the Santa Monica Pier. So that'll be a really nice way to kind of top off this super remarkable adventure he's been on. One of the biggest things for him has been how much his journey and the uncomfortable nature of the journey has reminded him of some of the feelings of how he felt in his early recovery, with the uncertainty of where he's going to sleep night to night, the weather fluctuation from, when he was in Arizona, it was, it got into the 70s, and then at night it would dip into the 30s.
Good morning, late morning. Woke up to the snow, feeling good, ready to go.
He's had to adapt, and I think so much of early recovery and that journey is about adapting. And Connor should be back on the East Coast, back on Cape Cod by the end of next week, and November 18th, I think, 19th. And we're planning a way to celebrate his trip with Wellstrong and other people in the recovery community back on the East Coast. So be on the lookout. We'll have some event probably in the beginning of December for that.
We look forward to Connor's return to Falmouth, and FCTV will be there for that celebration. Thanks to Andrew Richards for that story. It's time now for 3 things from Town Hall, FCTV's condensed version of the takeaways from recent municipal meetings. Selections are chosen based on community impact.
Falmouth Town Meeting met for its annual fall session this week at the high school field house. 9 articles were on the warrant to be discussed, including capital improvement purchases and several town charter articles. While the warrant had been short, Town Meeting failed to achieve a quorum and was not able to discuss the issues of the warrant. Town Moderator David Vieira recessed the meeting until January 25th at 7 p.m.
We have a counted vote of 113. We need 124 town meeting members to convene the town meeting. So let me announce a little bit about what we're going to do. Tonight, I'm going to adjourn this meeting until Monday, January 25th at 7 p.m. In the interim time, we'll be working through the statute that allows for representative town meetings to explore remote options. It's a lot more complicated than just getting on Zoom under the statute, but we will begin to explore those options, and we will continue to monitor the health situation going forward. And looking at the trends in the region, we know that if we just try to adjourn for a week or a few days, we won't be able to meet the statutory requirements to do a remote meeting, and it would be futile to try to drag everyone back into here as things are not, quote unquote, heading in the right direction. So at this point in time, the warrant will stand as it is, so it'll be the same warrant, but I will adjourn this meeting until Monday, January 25th at 7 p.m. in this room. If we go to another location, you'll get a declaration of continuance.
In the last Select Board meeting, members of the board unanimously voted to grant temporary right to entry to Mayflower Wind. The vote allows the company to work on boring near Surf Drive Beach and near Falmouth Heights Beach. Town Manager Suso expressed to the board that this right to enter agreement is temporary, but will allow the energy company to explore possibilities.
Specifically, before you tonight is a request for a right of entry or a right to entry at 3 different locations in town in order for Mayflower Wind to determine whether it would be appropriate to come back to this board and request some permanent circumstance. The right to entry is only temporary and at most would allow them to explore possibilities.
Health Agent Scott McGann gave a report to the board addressing information and data concerning the coronavirus pandemic. Mr. McGann explained a change in reporting from the Commonwealth and went over the most recent case numbers for Barnstable County and the town of Falmouth. The report indicated a slight increase in case numbers for both the county and town level.
Our case count as of 4 o'clock this afternoon is 320. The chart you see in front of you is each blue dot represents how many cases we had in a given week since the beginning. as you can see that, like I had mentioned before, starting in late May all the way till roughly about now, we've been generally under 10 cases per week. But you can see the last 2 weeks we're at 11 and about 8, and we have 8 in the last 3.5 days. So that shows it's been a bit of an increase in the last week. Whether that stays or not, don't know. But so we're currently, our case count is at 320.
To see the meetings in their entirety, check out Government Channel 15's program schedule at fctv.org. After a quick break, we'll hear about an important milestone from the 300 Committee. Stay with us.
I really started working with FCTV back in high school, back in the days when I used to attend town meeting to learn about town meeting, and when I couldn't, I could watch it on Channel 13, now Channel 15. And now, as town moderator, I'm honored to have them cover town meeting, gavel to continue that tradition, to bring transparency to government and make sure that members of our community know what's going on.
FCTV is really the gold standard for coverage of Town of Falmouth governmental events, all the remarkable things that are happening in the Falmouth community that makes us such a special place.
We did have a wonderful feature on the Two Ponds Boardwalk that Falmouth in Focus did when that was under construction, and we were able to showcase some work of the Eagle Scouts and really connect with Falmouth, the people of Falmouth, and really plug into what's happening in Falmouth.
We have found it to be invaluable, and we've benefited not just from being promoted by FCTV, but I think that we've also found some partnerships and collaborations through FCTV that maybe we would not have found had we not worked with them.
They do a great job of promoting our mission, which is to give back to the community, our scholarships, our grant programs, and we also love the fact that FCTV films the race, and I know so many residents love to go back and review their performances and their finishing celebrations. So it's a great partnership.
They are a platform for a terrific outreach for the community to highlight the myriad of programs and people and special events in Falmouth that make Falmouth such a special place to be.
Well, I have to say that any time that our faith community or the organizations I'm involved with has an event, they call me. There is so much going on, I can't be everywhere at once. I know I can turn on Falmouth in Focus and I know what's happening around town.
We often hear from volunteers and community members who are glad to learn more about our programs and the programs of many community organizations on FCTV. So thank you, keep up the good work, and we'll be watching.
I am getting feedback from a lot of the veterans that enjoy seeing themselves on TV and for their family to see them doing things. FCTV has played a big role in helping veterans. FCTV helps the VFW because we have our meeting here once a month, which is very good.
The clients that we serve and have served during the first 4.5 years have been homeless people. They are all from Falmouth. So our focus is Falmouth, and that is why you are so important to us.
FCTV is just constantly reaching out to us, inviting us in, wanting to learn more. So without FCTV, we would not be able to share the word of Wings.
For 30 years, Friends of Falmouth Dogs has been taking wonderful dogs from the town and finding them wonderful homes. FCTV, through their Falmouth in Focus program, has been a huge help and has found us families and spread the word when we need it.
So we've had an opportunity to tell some of the most interesting and important stories of Falmouth for the last several years. That's what Falmouth in Focus continues to bring to the people, not just in Falmouth, but because Falmouth in Focus is on FCTV's website and on YouTube, people nationwide that have an affinity for Falmouth can get that kind of localized, really important news.
FCTV has given me as a business owner and me as part of nonprofits, the opportunity to promote, to educate, to enlighten people, and really becomes the lens to know what's going on and around town. And it's such a great value add.
FCTV has been a phenomenal partner with the Falmouth Police Department as far as getting our message out about the police department. It's a great way for this department to share with the community what's going on, and has been phenomenal.
I know people watch FCTV because people frequently come up and start talking to me and then they say, actually, we've never met. I just think I know you because I see you on TV. It's a great way for people to keep up with what's happening in the town.
It is so important that we have a vibrant, public access community television to shine a light on government. And FCTV is all about creating that transparency, engaging Falmouth citizens in the government and in their communities.
So my hat's off to FCTV for engaging our community, for engaging our volunteers, for making government more open and transparent, and making sure that individuals have the opportunity to tell their stories on community television.
Welcome back to Falmouth in Focus. The 300 Committee was formed in 1985 with the goal of saving 300 acres of open space to celebrate the town's 300th anniversary the following year. 35 years and over 2,500 acres later, the committee is considered one of the flagship land trusts on Cape Cod.
Today we're standing at Teaticket Park, which is a site that the 300 Committee purchased in 2011 from the Vieira family. This was a driving range and we worked to convert it to Teaticket Park about 9 years ago at this point. It does have accessible trails and it's one of our showpiece conservation areas in Falmouth. For this 35th anniversary year, we're really focused on continuing our mission of land protection, stewardship, and connecting people with nature.
The reason we formed the 300 Committee was to honor the tercentennial of the town, because at that time Falmouth was just becoming, it was just developing very, very, very rapidly. There were over 500 building permits being given out a year and an equal number of new lots being created. So a group of people got together and we decided we would try to see if we could get the town to preserve 300 acres in 1986. We ended up actually in the first year preserving 400 acres. And then I originally thought, well, this is a one-year commitment, but we had such fantastic support that people said, well, let's keep going. And so we have. And it's just, even looking at Teaticket Park is indicative of the kind of support we've gotten.
We have landowners who are willing to sell a property to us for less than its appraised market value, and it's beneficial for them from a tax standpoint, and it's obviously beneficial to us. When something comes available, we don't just say, oh, we'll buy it. We have to make sure that it meets our criteria and makes good common sense, and will add to the other parcels in Falmouth that we can link together.
So the goal that the 300 Committee is working towards with land protection is the Town of Falmouth goal, which is to preserve 30% of Falmouth's land area as permanently protected open space. As of 2020, Falmouth has about 23% of its land area permanently protected. That includes federal lands, state, town conservation lands, and lands that nonprofits have preserved, which includes the 300 Committee Land Trust, Salt Pond Area Bird Sanctuaries, Oyster Pond Environmental Trust, and other environmental conservation organizations like the Buzzards Bay Coalition, who do work here in Falmouth.
For each of our properties in our conservation restriction areas, we have a steward who is out there on a regular basis at a minimum of once a year. Their basic job is to look for perhaps trash, perhaps incursions by dumping and things like that, or for invasive species. And keep an eye on the trails as well, too, to make sure the trails don't get either overgrown or tree falls happen in them. We think these properties are very important, not only to get people out on the land, but also for mitigation of climate change as well, too. Any land that stays in natural lands helps us to prevent climate change or slow down the rate of climate change increase.
Town land and the 300 Committee land and the other land trust land in town is open to everybody. It's not just for people who are members. We have over 1,000 members. It's not just for them. It's for everybody.
There's just something very special about being outside, and one positive outcome of this pandemic is people are really getting out and enjoying the open spaces. I think we've had more people out on the land than ever by far. So I'm just really so excited that the 300 committee has been so successful, because when you start something, you never quite know where it's going to go. But the town has been incredibly supportive, and I think that's the key.
For more information about the 300 Committee, check out their website at 300committee.org. Thanks to Andrew Richards for that story. The COVID-19 pandemic will not stop Falmouth's 57th annual Christmas parade. The Falmouth Select Board unanimously approved a request from your Falmouth Chamber of Commerce to have the FCTV staff record a virtual version of the favorite holiday event. Let's go behind the scenes and get a sneak peek. We knew it was going to be a much smaller parade, and I can tell you the committee, which has worked, so many of these people have worked on this, so many of the folks on the committee have worked for so many years, longer than me. We're pretty fortunate. You know, we reached out to the town manager's office and the select board, and they were very enthusiastic about enabling this to happen as long as we came up with a COVID safe procedure. And I think that COVID safe procedure that we put a lot of thought into putting together, we were limited in size because the parade took place at Marine Park, which was the perfect place to stage a smaller parade. So we didn't have you had to take that corner around the flying bridge to go to the lower road. So, you know, we asked people to keep the float length smaller, which I think made it a lot easier. And like true in many other parades, people showed up at like 8 in the morning and kind of finally assembled the floats right there. It worked out, you know, it was great. We're doing the same thing with the Christmas caroling at Nobska. We're very, very fortunate that the Friends of Nobska Light have enabled us to do that. And then the Solstice Singers were willing to come out and do the singing, lead the singing. And that was just very gracious on their part. It was really important to us to be able to put these events together. And also the lighting of the Village Green is going to take place. We're going to, we have one of our directors, Betsy West, who is a singer, has put together a small group. We couldn't have the Falmouth Town Band Brass out there this year. Patty Erickson from Cape Cod 5 that sponsors that event will be there to count back. We're going to have Santa Claus will be there as well. So it'll be a short group of people. We'll count back, and what we'll do is we'll have the songs, and then my understanding is that there's footage that we'll use to pan the whole area. So you know, all these events couldn't happen without the cooperation of so many people. You know, I already mentioned the town manager's office and the select board, but, you know, the Falmouth DPW, I mean, just amazing. Falmouth Police, Falmouth Fire and Rescue, the Harbor Master's office, again, the Friends of Nobska Light. It just, the list goes on of so many people that have been so supportive. And because of that, we're going to be able to have these events. I mean, I think the one thing I want to do is, you know, I thanked a lot of people, but really the main group we have to thank for all of this is FCTV. We could never do this without FCTV providing the filming and the editing and all that goes into it. So again, you know, true jewel for the community. And I think that this whole weekend really shows the collaboration and the partnership. I mean, really what such a special place Falmouth really is. Tune in to FCTV Channel 13 on Sunday, December 6th at noon to see the finished product. Thanks to Alan Russell for that story. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll pay a visit to the Falmouth Dog Park. Stay with us. Welcome back. In this month's Member Spotlight, Barb Schneider takes FCTV on a tour of the Falmouth Dog Park on Brick Kiln Road.
Hi, I'm Barb Schneider, president of the Falmouth Dog Parks Incorporated, and this is my dog, Max. Falmouth Dog Park is located at 257 Brick Kiln Road between Gifford and Sandwich Road and provides a great place for dogs to get exercise, become better socialized, and to simply have fun. It's also a welcoming place for dog owners and non-dog owners alike. Private and local business donations and fundraising activities are the sole sources of support for the park. Each year, thanks to the support we receive during our annual appeal, grants, and fundraising events, we are not only able to maintain the park, but also do at least one capital improvement. Since opening May 1, 2011, we have added 2 solar streetlights, allowing park visitors the opportunity to come to the park when it gets dark in the winter mid-afternoons. We were able to complete an entire interior circle of sidewalk, so people and dogs have a smooth pathway all around the inside fenced area, and numerous benched areas, many with trees to provide shade, where humans can gather and share dog stories while supervising their pups. We also bumped out the bench area near the parking lot and expanded the sand play area in the all-dog park section, carved off a third area for acclimation or dogs who need some time out. We built a shed to store all our supplies, increased the parking area and added wood chips to keep it clean and curtail weed growth, and even were gifted a woodland trail thanks to Eagle Scout Sam Mack and his troop of hard-working Boy Scouts. We also added a fantastic mosaic wall in memory of Jason Friel and his dog Chloe, and an entire wall of tiles individually designed by Tessa Morgan of Flying Pig Pottery that honor and memorialize pets and humans. We added Lou's Place, a great elevated doghouse with ramps and deck, which seems to be a gathering spot for the people as well as the dog. For more information about how you can volunteer or the activities and rules at the park, please visit our Facebook page or our website or call the number on the screen. Hope to see you soon at the park.
Thanks to Bob Schneider and the Falmouth Dog Park for that information. The East Falmouth Elementary School Honor Tree had its 8th annual ceremony earlier this month. The East Falmouth PTO and the Falmouth Military Support Group helped sponsor the event, with all proceeds benefiting the Falmouth Military Support Group.
The East Falmouth Elementary School PTO is proud to sponsor the annual Honor Tree to benefit the Falmouth Military Support Group and East Falmouth Elementary School military families. While we would love to gather as a community to light the tree, we must follow the COVID-19 protocols to keep everyone healthy and safe. We will videotape the ceremony and send a link out for all to view. We will also send out a program including names of all who were honored. We appreciate your support of our military community on this Veterans Day. And now, John McCrae was born on November 30th, 1872. He was a Canadian doctor and teacher who served in World War I. He is best known for his memorial poem, In Flanders Fields. He died on January 28, 1918.
Thanks to Ryan Weber for that story. FCTV wants to remind you that television can be as easy as hitting record on your smartphone. We'd like to invite all Falmouth residents and visitors to share their slice of life with us. Email us your photos and videos, or upload them to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using the hashtag MyFalmouth or Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our most recent contributors. We leave you now with the sights and sounds from sunset at Chappie Beach. Thank you for watching Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.